Welcome back once again to the Food Show here on 570 News. Perhaps somewhat apropos of the recent Copenhagen Climate Summit, when you order a burger at one of 70 outlets of Max Restaurant in Sweden, you will be aware of two prices. Not one, but two prices: the cost of the burger itself and its carbon footprint, what it possibly costs to the planet, in other words. For the last little while, the restaurant has been listing the carbon on most of its food products. So a burger will cost you so many kronars, but it will also cost 17 kilograms of carbon per kilogram. The greenhouse tomato that they serve, 2.8 kilograms of carbon per kilogram. The Swedish population seems to support the restaurant's environmental food labeling, claiming its claim to be the first CO2 emissions information on a menu anywhere in the world, and 92% of the people served there approve of this green credentialed food. Well, to talk about this, joining me on the line from Stockholm, Sweden, is Per Larsson, Max Restaurant's Director of Sustainability. Welcome to the Food Show.
Okay, thank you, Andrew.
It's good to have you here. It's a long distance, and I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. What is a Director of Sustainability?
That means that I'm responsible for our sustainability program that's divided in three areas. One concerning ecological sustainability, the second one is about social sustainability, and the third one is about responsibility for leadership and the ethical part.
Now, this seems to be, to my thinking anyway, something of a unique position. I don't think I can think of anybody that I know in North America here that has such a title. Is it also a unique position in Europe, in your part of the world, or not?
I haven't heard of any fast food chain that has this kind of position, but this is on behalf of the owners of the company. They want to take responsibility and try to serve burgers with not just good taste and good quality, but also with responsibility. And that's why they introduced and hired me for this job.
Okay, well, tell us a little bit now about what the carbon footprint labeling program is at your restaurant.
Yes, in 2007 we was inspired by the movie Inconvenient Truth by Al Gore, and it raised the question to us. We were curious about our own carbon footprint, so we conducted a study from the farmer's land all the way to the customer's hand, and surprisingly enough, or we had a clue that the burger itself should be the problem, but we didn't understand that it should be this much of a problem. So more than 70% of our carbon emissions comes directly from the beef. So we decided this is something we had to do something about. And in the short run, we say it's the best for us is to be transparent with our customers, to show the customer how much carbon there are in each product. And we do this by this carbon labeling. And secondly, we try to reduce our emissions. We have cut down the beef in the burger, but we also introduced new products. We also introduced green energy in our restaurants. And the third we did was also to use carbon offsetting. So everything that we emit also ends up in planting trees in the rainforest in Africa.
So, as a business strategy, it seems kind of counterintuitive to me. I've got a customer coming into my store. It's a restaurant that sells hamburgers, but then you're saying to them that hamburgers and the beef that's in the hamburger is actually a very high carbon rating, I guess. Don't buy it. How have you found the reaction to be?
I agree with you, and that was also a question that the board of directors asked us, is this the right way to do? But we were anonymous. We really did want to do this, because in the long run, of course, we had to have the consumers to change the way of how they consume burgers. And so in the long run, this is surely going to be the only way for us to stay in business. And we have an ambition in the job that we are doing is not just changing ourselves. Hopefully we can change the whole fast food industry by this.
I have a little bit of trouble figuring out what this really means. When I see a sign that says my hamburger has taken this much carbon, and puts this much carbon, emitted this much carbon, it's a very hard thing to get your mind around. How are you going to educate people to understand what this means?
In Europe, it's mandatory that you have to carbon declare how much a car emits. So I do believe that Europeans are starting to learn and start to think about carbon labeling. And we are trying to get society to change. We want to have more labeling on more products. So when you buy clothes, you're going to see how much carbon there are in those products. So I do believe the only way in the long run to make a change in the society, make a change and save the planet, or save the human race for the climate effect, you had to take the control of your carbon footprint. And I do believe that companies have to take responsibility. We are offsetting also everything that we pollute, even if we try to reduce. In the short run, we offset everything. So you could call it like we have neutralized our carbon effect.
And I've just read that, all of the Wendy's chains in Japan are closing down. It wasn't a flavor, I guess, that the Japanese liked, and all those restaurants are closing down, which is quite an interesting development. I understand too that in Sweden, the McDonald's burger, I guess, doesn't really cut it with the population there. Is that correct?
I never talk about other companies, but I know that I had the honor of in 1990, because I've been working with this company for more than 20 years, to take control of the first 2 McDonald's restaurants that they sold. They left 2 cities and they sold the restaurants to us. So I know that they are not that popular concerning taste and quality. It's a huge company. They've done a lot of good things also, but concerning taste and quality, what I've seen ratings, they are not doing that good.
Your restaurant, though, isn't just doing the carbon footprint labeling. There's a lot of other environmental achievements that you've racked up. Do you want to tell us a few of those, and maybe it'll act as some kind of a little bit of a spur for restaurateurs here and businesses here in North America?
I think it's very important that you communicate also what you're doing. We try to reduce everything that we do concerning transportation of goods, but also transportation of people. We have e-learning program instead of traveling people around to our training centers. We now have an e-learning program. We have changed, as I said before, also changed the way we power our restaurants. So now it's just green power, wind power in all restaurants. Some of the examples. But also I think it's important that you see the products that you are serving. Can I use less material to serve the same quality and taste? We try to reduce unnecessary steps in the process. That means that we have taken away the paper bag that is around the kids' meal. So that means that we haven't exchanged it with anything else. That means that you as a customer, you won't have that one, but the tree will never be cut down. It won't be manufactured, it won't be transported, and you don't have to take it away in trash either.
You were very close. You were very close to the recent Copenhagen Climate Summit, both geographically and in your day-to-day working with sustainability and environmental issues. What was your impression of how that conference ended up?
I really think that it was important that all these leaders met and start a process of discussion. I don't believe that this is the end. This is just the beginning. And hopefully the next time they meet, they will have gone farther away from trying to reach a common goal. There are some big countries that doesn't share the same vision as maybe Europe or maybe Canada, because I know that Canada is also rather progressing in this one. And as a matter of fact, Whistler, the small nowadays famous small city in Canada, they use the same methodology to trying to be sustainable as we as a company are doing. We are using the natural step methodology on trying to create a sustainable society, and we are doing the same to trying to create a sustainable company. And I do believe that more and more countries around the world are starting to think in the same way, same manner. But it will take a couple of more years before they have a legal binding agreement that will definitely cut emissions.
Well, thank you very much for your insights, Par, and I guess the little push you've given everybody to at least think about becoming a more environmentally sustainable business and restaurants especially. Thank you.
Okay, bye. Thank you.
That was Par Larssons from Max's Restaurant. He's the Director of Sustainability in Stockholm, Sweden. We'll be right back after these breaks. This is 570 News.